Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And I have a dude on coming to us from just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. John Renken. Be right back. Here we are. Let me bring John on the show. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. It's great to have you here. I wanted to play a little clip real quick. This is so important. Here, watch this.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
Has nothing to do with this show, but I just love that clip.
It's a great clip. It's coming soon.
Coming soon. That's right. So John, I started this show about it's going 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And, it was to help people have a breakthrough, to get unstuck in life. And I hear that you have some experience with that. So
yeah, I've had a few experiences that led me to get stuck on occasion.
Yeah. So why don't we start with telling everybody where you were born and raised? By the way, if you have your phone handy, you could share this out if you want to your Facebook page. But just go to my Facebook page. You can share it out, and anybody watching, if you share it out, there's extra points for you somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere.
Yeah, so I was born in Peoria, Illinois, 1972. As a matter of fact, on December 31st. So I'm a Christmas baby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and was pretty much born and raised in Illinois until I think 6th grade is when I moved to Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
December 31st?
Yep.
Wow, your parents really wanted a write-off that year.
That's exactly right.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing, man. So you were born in Illinois and you moved to Texas. How old were you when you moved to Texas?
I was in 6th grade. So my dad was a factory worker, and during that time, Caterpillar, which is a big company, went through their, their layoffs back in the 80s. And so we moved to Texas for 3 or 4 years, where he got a job as another factory worker, and then moved back to Illinois before I graduated high school and joined the Army.
Wow. So you graduated high school back in Illinois.
Back in Illinois.
And you joined the Army. That would have been, 1988, 89.
So I graduated high school in 91.
Oh.
And into the Army in 93.
Oh, I got you. I was
maybe that old, man.
I was close. Hey, man, my math was off a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I know, like, you were on Ray Higdon's reality show recently, right?
Yep.
And we'll talk about that. But I know we have some network marketers watching. Larry Schneider, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. And some other people. So that's interesting that you were on his show. I love Ray and Jess. They're amazing. So you joined the Army in 93?
Yep.
Okay.
1993, right in between the initial Gulf War and basically Somalia, when Somalia happened, the Black Hawk Down series.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn was in Black Hawk Down. My buddy, Glenn Morshower.
He was in
the movie Black Hawk Down. Yeah.
He was General McChrystal, right?
I have no idea what his role was. He would hate me for that. He's probably watching and he's gonna shun me now, but I don't know what his role was. I forget. I'm not good at that.
McChrystal.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I do remember, and he was, I believe he was then, McChrystal wasn't a general then, but
Got it. Yeah. So you were how long were you in the Army?
I was in the Army from 93 to 96. I was an infantryman here at Fort Campbell, did airborne school, ranger school.
Wow.
All those high-speed schools.
Wow. Airborne Rangers.
Yep.
Wow. And so hold it, 93 to 90. So 3 years?
3 years, 93 to 96, and then got out and went to college.
Gotcha. Okay. And what did you study in college?
This is going to flip you out, but I got my degree in Bible and theology.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yes.
Yep.
And Mark Gasser, thank you. I agree. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that, man. So you got your degree in Bible and theology. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So you're a preacher.
Yeah. So I pastored from 97 until 2014, basically.
Wow. Okay. So what made you decide to do that? You you go from
really my decision.
Airborne Rangers to okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't a Christian when I joined the military.
Okay.
My squad leader actually led me to the Lord. And then I just felt the call is what we call it, or the desire to pursue ministry. So I got out, went to Bible college, and then pastored for many years.
Wow. And so you don't do that anymore?
No, in 2014, I went through a pretty hostile divorce. And so, it started in 2013. So I saw it coming. And I resigned, merged the two churches together with another church, and basically stepped out of the spotlight to go through that.
Wow. And that was 2014, you said?
Yeah.
So I assume you were paid to be a minister of a church?
Never.
Did you have a job?
Yeah. So I was a hand-to-hand combat instructor for special forces for the last 20 years.
And a minister.
And a minister. Ministry of laying on of hands.
Okay, so you're like teaching people how to meet Jesus, literally.
Yeah. Totally what I did.
Wow, dude, I did not. Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You're the guy that nobody should pick a fight with, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm a little older now, so you might get away with some more.
Wow, dude. So do you know how diametrically opposite those two things are? Like, I teach hand-to-hand combat and I'm a minister.
Yeah, so it was so diametrically opposed that they featured me on Fox and Friends and did a documentary and put me on the front page of the New York Times over it.
What?
You could believe that you could be a preacher and a fighter, because I had 70 pro fights too, and like the UFC style of fighting.
Really?
Yep.
So you're a cage fighter too?
Yeah, I was a cage fighter until 2008 is when I retired.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm leading you to Jesus one way or the other, bro.
Yeah.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
You choose. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, man. So what are some of the along the journey? Besides the divorces are always a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you Sandy says makes sense to me? Bible carrying warrior. Yes. So what are, hey, you know what? With the way things are going right now, we need some warriors, quite frankly. but what are some of the challenges along the way? Like when you were in the Army, did you face any I was not in the service. My brother was in the Navy, and I remember going up to visit him at Great Lakes Academy
Oh,
in up north during his graduation, and he's like, dude, you wouldn't believe the way they talk about mom.
yeah.
I go, what? He goes, they get in your face. They test you. He goes, I'm telling you. And he's big. He's 6'5", and he was always a fighter as a kid, right?
Yep.
And these guys are getting in these drill instructors are like getting in his face. And so, what was that like for you going through all of that in the military?
Yeah, so I actually found boot camp to be pretty easy because I was already in great shape. I was already fighting. I was, let me see, in '93, I was ranked 3rd in the nation in Olympic Taekwondo. And so for me, I was already in good shape going into the military. And I wasn't really an outspoken guy at that time in my life. I was more of a, hey, just don't mess with me and I'll do my thing and you do your thing, right?
Right.
And then I made it almost all the way through boot camp with nobody knowing my name. So, and then
Wow.
It was probably about week 9. So we had switched over to AIT for infantry. And the drill sergeant walked up to me and basically said, why are you picking your nose in my formation? And I didn't move because I didn't think he was talking to me. And then he got in my face and he's like, I'm talking to you. And he's cussing and screaming. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't picking my nose. And he goes, are you calling me a liar, with a bunch of cuss words? And I was like, and I just knew at that point, I was like, well, I have a choice. I can either take the hit and, compromise my own integrity, or I could, call him out. So I said, yeah, you're right. I am calling you a liar.
Oh, shit.
And from that point on, everybody knew my name, and they smoked the absolute dog crap out of me for the next
my
5,
God.
6 weeks. So
wow, man.
So I just, at that point I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna take the bullet for you. You're making this up.
Wow.
And and it made me a better person, I think. They wanted me to quit, and I'm a hard-headed, stubborn guy, and I was like, you can smoke me until I freaking die. It's not going to matter to me.
You don't look like a hand-to-hand combat instructor. I mean, you look like a friendly chap.
Good. I've managed to change my image a little.
That's awesome. So you went through all this, and did you go in there? It was in the middle of no action really going on.
Yeah. So by this point, we had already closed down the first Gulf War, and we were more on a, kind of like a security role with that.
Yeah. Did you go overseas at all?
I never deployed. I missed Somalia. I missed the Gulf War.
Wow.
Now I've been to Afghanistan twice as a civilian, over there doing some contract work. But as a soldier, I didn't deploy.
Wow. So, do you think that we have the most powerful military in the world?
Absolutely.
That was a rhetorical.
China has quite a large military, and I believe that if politicians took the gloves off, there's not a military that could really stand. I mean, we have weapon systems that can, fly missiles through windows from halfway across the world. So,
I have a nephew that flew F-16s, and my niece's husband flew drones from a little tiny. He flew drones
from a trailer
in Arizona on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So
there's no question to me, so having worked with the most elite guys for the last 20 years, which is a very small population, and then seeing the technological stuff that we're able to do, there's no question.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty advanced. I mean, it's a rhetorical question. So, but like, when it comes to, I mean, what are some of the other challenges you've faced along the way? You get out of the military. One of the things I've heard that's common is, people get out of the military and then they have a really difficult time. Joe Ingram says, I flew Southwest Airlines once.
Right.
But I hear, people, my brother had this issue, reintegrating back into civilian life is challenging sometimes.
I think that it's more challenging now than when I was in, but I had my challenges as well. A funny story, when I got out, I was going to college, so I still had to get a job, and I put together my resume. And while I was doing my resume, everybody in the Army told me how easy it would be to get a job because of everything that I'd done while I was in the military. And I quickly found out that that was all nonsense, because I put on my resume that I had done airborne school and ranger school and was basically a ranger. And when I got to my first job interview, the guy was looking through my resume and he asked me what forest I worked in. And I was like, forest? He goes, yeah, it says here that you're a ranger. And I was like,
are you a moron?
I was like, no, that's and it really went to show me that the civilian world really has no clue what we do. And it was difficult to mesh the experiences of the military with a civilian job. And the people that have gone to war, the veterans that have served over the last 20 years have a much harder time, I think, integrating now than what I did in the 90s. So, much respect to you guys, brothers. So,
wow. So, so you get out, you go into the ministry, which is what every Army Ranger should do.
Right.
Airborne Ranger, I guess. Were you what airborne was it in there? 101st and
101st. Mm-hmm.
Were you 101st?
101st.
Okay. And then there's the 82nd, right?
82nd, and then you actually, so just for the viewers, we actually have what is called Ranger Regiment, and there's 3 battalions of that. I was not a Ranger, I was Ranger qualified. So anybody who's got some military service will get that distinction. There's quite a bit of distinction. So
what about David Goggins? Could you take him?
So David is a absolute beast, and he's much better shape than I am now. So,
dude, he could beat most people with his will, just his will. That's it. Like, his will is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, he's something else. I was just out in Death Valley in August, and he ran that marathon through that. 123 degrees when I was there.
Yeah, and is it 100 miles? It's 100 miles, right? It's a 100-mile marathon.
I don't remember what the distance was. If it's more than 25, it's just even more impressive.
He's on a different level. So so you teach? Do you still teach hand-to-hand combat?
No. So due to COVID, that position went away this year. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
What do you do now?
So right now, it's crazy. I am helping a company open speech therapy clinics for military dependents with special needs.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
All over the U.S. or
all
just
over
local?
the U.S. Yep.
Wow. And what do you do? How's that?
So because I spent so long in the military, I made so many connections across the country through teaching and running seminars for them. I've developed a network that allows me to pretty much go to any military base and have a place to stay, have, friends to hang out with and business contacts. And so we're using that network to basically open up these clinics across the country because our veterans, our military personnel, oftentimes that system is backlogged or they don't have enough therapists to really see the kids and get the kids to where they need to be.
Wow. Ernest Odell, it was difficult translating and transferring military skills to civilian life. How do we tell civilians that we killed bad guys and apply that to corporate America?
Yeah, right.
I know, man.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you see people, doing that are holding them back in life? I mean, you seem like a guy that just like, nothing can stop me. I'm just going to keep pushing.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that stops people is their own mindset, their inability to have confidence in themselves, maybe because they're stuck, maybe because they just haven't really thought through what they want out of their life. I've just heard so many people that are at a position in their life where they're doing it because they have to, not because they want to. And I've always just found it strange that as kids, when we're growing up, we try to tell our kids, you can do anything you want to do in the world. You can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. And we instill that kind of faith in them that they can actually live the life that they want to live. And then somewhere around 15 or 16, we tell them to stop dreaming, grow up, get a job, and suck it up and just get things accomplished. And I think that that's kind of permeated our culture. There's just so many people that aren't happy with where they're at and what they're doing. That it's really a mindset. It's a mindset issue to me.
So you and along this journey, I mean, you were in the ministry from 96 to 2014, right?
Yep.
And all the while you're the minister of the church, like, right? The head minister of a church.
Yep.
And, but your day job is teaching people how to kill people.
Yeah, basically.
Was it a self-defense class? Was it a
no,
eliminate the target class?
Nope. We tried to teach them how to fight. And, we ran classes every single day, 5 hours a day. And we did everything from punching, kicking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, knife fighting, stick fighting, gun fighting. I mean,
wow.
It's pretty comprehensive. And, MacArthur says, I would rather their mothers be crying than our mothers crying. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, for me, there was no dichotomy. I've been a fighter my whole life. It was something I dreamed of being as a little boy.
Really?
I lived my dream. And, I know to a lot of people, it might seem a little bit out there, but, I don't believe there's anything wrong with serving in the military or teaching the military or teaching law enforcement or professional athletics of any sort, whether that be professional fighting via boxing or MMA or football or hockey.
Yeah.
So,
I could open up Pandora's box probably by asking you what do you think of everything going on right now in America?
So I definitely am very skeptical of the results. I just don't see there's any way that Biden outscored Obama in votes. I just don't even know how that's possible. I can say that my grandfather has passed and he didn't vote for him. So I don't know what the rest of the dead people were thinking.
Yeah. Some crazy stuff happening.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. So you went down to was this season 2 that you were on with? So you were on Ray and Jessica Higdon's show, and that had to have been so Hank. You met Hank Norman.
I met him for the first time.
Yeah, I'm friends with Hank and Steve. They're good guys.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience. First off, why? What that and when was that?
So it was we filmed in February of this year, so right before coronavirus hit.
Oh, wow.
And then why was last year, my buddy was on it. And so I saw him on it, and I was like, I'm going to do that show. And I didn't really know Ray. I wasn't in Rank Makers. I just was like, I'm going to do that show. And so I ended up joining Rank Makers in December of last year, which is Ray's organization. It's a great organization if you want to learn how to sell and team build and a bunch of different stuff. But so I joined in December. A week later, I got the email that they are now taking applications for Play to Win Season 2. So I sent in an interview. They asked us to record it on our phone. I said, hey, look, my name's John Renken. You've never had anybody on your show like me. You never will. So you should put me on your show.
that had to intrigue the heck out of Ray, I'm sure.
Well, so I didn't know this until after the show, but Ray and Jess didn't see any of the candidate interviews. Only Hank.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's awesome. I sent Ray a text telling him I should text Hank. So you went down to where is that, Naples area?
Yeah.
You went down there.
In Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you went down there, and how far did you make it?
I made it to the finale.
Did you really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Lost by $100 or so. So
was it a sales competition?
Fundraising for March of Dimes. So the last competition was basically doing a campaign for a nonprofit, where we had to run the entire operation. So,
wow. So you came in second place?
No, I lost.
What's that mean?
I don't do second place.
But it was a second place or not?
Yeah,
I know you lost.
I lost.
I get that. Now we're talking semantics, but technically, you came in second place.
I took second.
Okay. You said no, I lost. I get that, dude. I love that. I love that attitude. That's awesome. So what's so you I mean that's pretty intense, because there were how many contestants? Like 15?
There were 28 contestants, or 27. I think there was 27 because one guy didn't show up. What's
your shirt?
My shirt says I fight bullies.
I can't see I can see I fight. Oh, bullies. Love that.
Fight Voodoo, thanks for the shirt.
Huh?
Fight Voodoo is the company. Thanks for the shirt.
That's awesome, man. So, fighting bullies is a good thing. Bullies don't like to fight. They're typically. Yep. Joe said you were the first loser.
Yep.
That's messed up, man. So so now you're doing this thing where you're helping say it again.
So it's occupational and speech therapy for special needs kids that are the dependents of militaries. It's a big mouthful.
Okay. Yes. So, and is that's a big thing?
Yeah. So here at Fort Campbell, we have about 4,000 kids that are being helped.
Wow.
It obviously depends on the population of the military base that we're at. Some bases are obviously a lot smaller. So
do you have any intentions of getting back into the hand-to-hand combat training stuff at all, or?
No, I at this point in my life, I'm about to be 48 years old. Waking up every morning fighting 20-year-olds is really rough. So,
yeah.
And I've had some significant injuries from just the years of abuse that you go through to do that.
Yeah.
I've tore both my biceps. I've got 2 herniated discs, and so I've got some lumps and bumps. And
wow.
ready for an easier lifestyle.
Ray just responded to my text message. He said, "Challenge him to a fight." No, thanks. I'll leave that to Ray. He can challenge you, man. He's got
Ray
it.
said he would do it if we raised money for a worthwhile nonprofit. So
Yeah,
maybe you could set that up.
that would be awesome. Set it up for you and Ray.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Ray's not a sissy. So
no, I was watching him work out with his Thai instructor. So
yeah, he's got some game. But
Yeah.
but so that's funny. I'm not challenging you to a fight. No way, dude. No,
I'm
no way.
old now, so
Yeah. So I'm older. So yeah, I'm 52.
we'll
But
defer to Ray.
Yeah. So what, like, a lot of people will see this interview. A lot of people will hear this interview. So far, it sounds like, just being real, it sounds like life's been pretty easy for you.
Yeah, it is not.
I know.
That's
So-
probably the because I'm just confident, so it comes
know.
out that way. But
What are some of the things that have happened to you in life where you were like, I'm not getting through this. I there's no way, and then you did.
Yeah, so there was a period of time where I had just gotten out of college, was pastoring, making no money. The organization that was supposed to support me didn't support, and was trying to get combatives up off the ground. I was working 2 or 3 jobs, and I literally was using paying this month on this bill to get it to not go into collection, to pay this bill, and then not paying that bill for 2 or 3 months, and was making no money.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, that all kind of turned around for me. I became the first civilian to actually be certified to train the Army officially.
Wow.
That was really rough. I mean, there were plenty of times that I really didn't even know if I was going to have enough money for groceries. And then I think probably in 2009 was the toughest time of my life. I had to start dealing with my sexual abuse as a kid, which I really buried my whole life and
Yeah.
didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to address it, didn't want to deal with it. And it's still pretty emotional for me. And really what happened was it was my daughter. I was holding my daughter and then taken. I never knew that sexual exploitation was real. And it just peeled open this big, nasty issue in my life that I honestly I'd never really addressed. So I went through a lot with that. And then just a couple of years later, going through my divorce, which still to this day, I think has been the hardest thing I've had to do, which was fighting for custody of my kids.
Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah. So that's some tough stuff. And there's this, unfortunately, I see too many, just here recently in Ohio, I forget what it was. Yeah. They took down like 53 or something crazy, some crazy number of all these pedophiles.
And then us in Georgia of 27 kids that were being trafficked, so.
Dude, it's crazy. I've got a guy that was on this show. He's a friend of mine, Anthony, that he's actually he's got an organization called Truckers Against Predators. And he has these women, young women all over the US that sound like, over the phone, they sound like little girls, and they set up these pedophiles. They set them up to meet. These pedophiles think they're meeting a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, and they're meeting Anthony, who is a big badass trucker. I mean, he's a big dude, and you should. I don't know how he does. I've said this to him, dude. I have no idea how you don't grab some of these freaks and just rip their freaking throat out, just like. But he doesn't. He gets the police involved, and there's been arrests. There's been all kinds of stuff. But it's a national organization where he does this, man. It's amazing. Because there are a lot of twisted people in this world, man. There's a lot of twisted people.
I don't remember it being that way when I was a kid,
Neither do I.
I don't remember having to worry about my next door neighbor. I mean, I know that it happened.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I live in a really safe town, and I'm always asking, hey, where are you going? Who is this person? Who's their parents? Like, I want to meet them. I want to do the sniff test myself.
Yep.
It's crazy to me the depravity that's overtaken this nation with something like that. Like, kids are not to be messed with, not to be played with.
No. I believe the Bible said, Jesus said something about that. Right. So I think so you get out of the military, you decide, and you said you became a Christian while you were in the military.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, why? What happened? Was there a situation, or
I'm not sure you're ready for this.
Dude, I've heard it all, man.
So I was a Satanist, and I had been a Satanist for a number of years.
A Satanist? Mm-hmm. Okay, I haven't heard it all. Now I have.
Yeah.
What?
I'd been a Satanist for roughly, I think at that point, 6 or 7 years, with an organization called the Temple of Set. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can't leave it at that. What? Talk a little bit more about that. Yeah. Whoa.
So there's two organizations. There's the Church of Satan and then the Temple of Set. And the main divider between those two organizations is whether or not Satan is a real person. The Church of Satan believes that it's more of an ideology versus the Temple of Set that actually believes it was a real organization or a real entity. And so during my time in the beginning stages of my military time, I was a Satanist. I was doing drugs, I was drinking, I was partying. I was absolutely full of hate towards Christians, and my squad leader was a man of faith, and just over the course of the year that I worked with him, was just in a position where he was constantly exposing me to the gospel, talking to me about eternal life. And, I was getting ready to actually leave for Ranger School, and he came up and he just basically said, hey, you're going to die. Like, this is not a game. We all do. And I was like, hey, man, you keep that snake charming stuff to yourself. I don't have time for it. And I went back up to my barracks room and was going back through my packing list to make sure I had everything. And man, I have no other way to explain it other than this. Sitting on my bed, going through my packing list, God became so real to me. It was like he was sitting there talking to me.
What?
Yep. I walked downstairs and I said, hey, what do I have to do to become a Christian? He's like, hey, man, don't play games with me. He thought I was and so we prayed together, and I've been ever since then working for the kingdom.
Wow, man.
Yep.
Well, I bet that pissed off the devil.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Though, I gotta say this because Robert said he's never heard that term. There's somebody that's a devout atheist, but atheists and Satanists are not the same. No. So I've always thought, somebody that is an atheist or a Satanist, I've always thought, first off, that's evil. But second, it seems like the people that I've met, they may have been in that place because a chip on their shoulder or something that from the past that kind of made them go, good in this world is BS, and so I'm just going to go to the extreme opposite.
Yeah. Well, I think so. For me, it was power, the power to make a difference in my life, the power to not live the life that I was living. Those were all the lies that were being told, and I was a spiritually kind of attuned person anyway. And that was the lure for me, was the power to make a difference in my life. It's just a life that truly you don't want to live. Like I have people often that will ask me, do you ever want to go back? And I'm like, hell no. Like, why would I?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, drugs, it's alcohol, it's, no true relationships, because the entire thing is built on depravity. So, it's never been an issue for me.
Wow. So, okay, well, that's a huge shift. I mean, that's a massive shift.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're the first Satanist to ever be on my show. Former. Wow. Laura says, always makes me wonder when atheists say GD, especially because they don't believe. So do they really?
Yeah.
Right.
You're cussing out a non-existent God.
Huh?
I said you're cussing out a non-existent God.
I know, right?
No.
So wow, man, that's huge. That's a big shift in life. That's
it was a very big shift in my life. I mean, it wasn't overnight to everybody else or even me, but I literally became a Christian a day or two before I left for Ranger School. So for 3 months, I was out in the woods, starving, not getting any sleep, completely isolated from the life that I had been living. No alcohol, no drugs, none of that stuff. And then I come back from that school after completing it, and all of a sudden the guy who was the party animal in the barracks is going, no more.
Wow. So that's intense, dude. That's really, really intense. So, and so you're a, you and when did you, like, was there a church? Like you went to was a structure, a Satanist church?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they don't have buildings, so to speak, but, you do rituals, you gather, you do community together. It's just the principles are completely polar opposite than what most people would expect.
My gosh, man. Do they sit around and talk about how they can wreak evil and havoc in the world?
No, the conversation really wouldn't play out that way. It's more, Aleister Crowley said, do what thou will shall be the whole of the law, as long as you don't harm anyone. So it's not like they're out plotting on how they can come on this show and kill you and me, right?
Right.
It's more about them just living their life to their standard without any consideration to consequence eternally.
Wow.
So
that's insane. And then you were packing in your barracks to leave for Ranger School. Yep. And like, were you standing up and all of a sudden you had what was the moment?
On my bed, because in the old barracks you didn't have chairs, you didn't have furniture, you had a bed, a wall locker. That's all we had.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on my bed, and I was just going through my packing list, because if you don't take the right packing list, it's automatic. You get kicked out. So like, I was double, triple checking, making sure I had everything. And I was just sitting there, and man, God just basically came over me, and I just knew that he was real. And I was crying. I'd never cried. Like, I was like, what in the world is going on? Why am I, and I just
out of the blue, you're looking through your packing list and you're like, socks, underwear, and boom.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think I wouldn't say it was out of the blue because I literally just had the conversation with my squad leader. Like that had just happened. I walked upstairs and the notion of death and where are you going for eternity? For some reason that struck a chord in me on that particular day. And
Wow.
and it just became so real to me that still 30 years, almost 30 years later, there's no question in my mind that God is real, that Jesus is real, and that my life is different because of him.
Wow, dude. That's intense. So you went through Ranger school, you stayed in the Army for how much longer after you went through Ranger school?
Another 2 years.
Okay. So you're in the Army, you're now a Christian in the Army, and you get out and that's when you decide I'm going into the ministry.
Yeah. I simultaneously decided to start professionally fighting as well. So, like,
Jeez.
yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
actually,
Cage fighting.
yeah, cage fighting. My first fight was in an abandoned house in La Crosse, Wisconsin, in negative 20-degree weather. And you can actually still find it on the internet. It's called the Cold House Fights because we were all freezing. And there was just something about fighting. And it was funny because, talk about struggle all the way probably through my first 2 or 3 years of Bible college. Everybody thought I was like a plant. I was the Antichrist or something. Because, I had earrings, nose ring. I was a professional fighter. I was a beer drinker. I liked beer. Oh
my gosh.
Real? So,
wow.
Yeah.
But you graduated with a degree in theology.
Yeah. Graduated with a degree in theology and a minor in Bible. And, so, and then right back here to Fort Campbell to start a church.
And you just started a church from just you and
Yep.
Whoever else.
Yep. Just started in my house. Started doing a Bible study that led to a church that led to what they called Fight Church, which was my church and my fight gym were in the same building where I was training people at night. And which is what the documentary was called, Fight Church, where they followed me around and talk about Jesus and fighting. And
this was on what? What was the documentary on?
Well, it was the #1 download on Amazon, or not Amazon, sorry, iTunes for a while. Okay. It's on Netflix now. Fight Church, and it was an independent documentary. Daniel Youngie.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Fight Church. So, and then you said you were on the front page of
the New York Times.
The New York about Fight Church.
Yeah, I got called a Christian jihadist. That I'm worse than Al Qaeda. It was great.
What?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
A Christian jihadist? Why?
Because I was teaching the military how to fight, so apparently I became an extremist.
Now, have you taught law enforcement as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm taser certified, pepper spray certified. I'm mock certified, which is a system that they use for non-compliance, and so I've done all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that pepper spray certification is probably. I have a Kubaton, and it's a police grade Kubaton that holds pepper spray, and it's pretty cool. And so I decided to test it one day. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to spray this downwind. I'm just going to do a little, and so I did a little, and it was going downwind, and somehow it was downwind, dude, and it still somehow ended up not like a direct hit, no way, but I'm like, oh my God, I can't see. It was terrible, man.
Pepper spray is pretty foul, man.
It is really foul.
I'll take the taser every day of the week over pepper spray.
Well, I've not been tased, thank God. Knock on wood.
Taser's just 5 seconds. It's not really that bad.
Oh, anyway, yeah, I'll take your word on that. I never want to experience that. So what I have been and I talk about this a lot. What do you think the number one thing is that holds people back from experiencing success and real joy in life?
Well, I think real joy comes from identity, knowing who you really are. You could be going through some of the most crazy things in your life, but if you are secure in your identity as who you are as a person, I believe that gives you the confidence and the joy to really accomplish everything else. And I really think that everything starts with identity. And for me, as a Christian, that's my identity of who I am in my relationship with God. If that thing is straight, then nothing else really matters. And I think that out of that flows the ability to have vision for your life and a mindset to where you can be successful. Life is a journey, and if without a roadmap, without an identity, it's going to be complex and it's going to be hard. And you have to have a destination. I think many people in America don't have a destination. And I guess I would tell people that going to work because you have to and sucking it up is not a destination. It's
Right.
a punishment. So now I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, but you should open your eyes to opportunities of things that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, that you could actually do and you would feel that you're adding value to, right?
Yeah.
And man, I mean, I have had a great life, but I've had some really shitty parts too. But I think that the identity in God mixed with a vision of where I'm going in my life is really what has caused me to have the attitude that I've had so that I can be happy, right? And
Yeah.
just kind of grinding it out and sucking it up because this is what you're supposed to do or what you feel like you have to do. Man, that's just not a way to live.
No, I agree with you, man. And you said shitty, a preacher that cusses.
If you got a problem with it, whoever's watching, you can forgive me.
For all of sin and fallen short of the glory.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I think that there was a time back when my wife and I, it was right after we met, and I've told this story multiple times, but I had this dude that worked for me, and we had just opened our first office, and months later, everybody's getting paid except for me. And this dude walks in, he goes, hey boss, there's a guy looking in the windows of your SUV out in the parking lot. And I'm like, why are you telling me, dude? Tell him to get the hell out of here. You're bigger than I am. And he's like, well, I would, except for he's got it blocked with his tow truck. And I was like, oh God. They were there to repo my vehicle. And there's nothing more humiliating than being the boss and having to ask an employee to give you a ride to the place to get your car out of repossession. And I remember it was a really, really, really bad day. And John, with everything going on in this crazy ass year,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people. I mean, we talk about the 22 military veterans that commit suicide on average every day. It's more than that. It's way more than that. I guarantee it, because they don't talk about the alcohol related accidents and drug and everything else. So, and there's a lot of just regular people that just can't take it anymore, and they're ending it.
Yeah.
For those people that are at the end of their rope, that are, and I remember that feeling, man. I've had it many times in life where it's like, oh my God, I can't I can't go on. Like, I'm never making it through this.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people? If somebody called you right now and said, dude, my car was repoed, my electric's being shut off, I'm at the end of my rope, I don't know what to do, I just don't feel like it's worth going on. What do you say to them to help them get through this moment?
So I was starving, sleep deprived on a mountain, and I wanted to quit Ranger School. And I basically said, I'll quit when I get to the mountain, to the top of the mountain. When I got to the top of the mountain, who quits on top of the mountain? Just walk down. And when I got to the bottom of the next one and we started the next one up, it was horrible. And I was like, I'll quit when I get to the top. And my advice to anybody in a situation is where they're feeling like they're going to take their life is quit when you get to the top of the mountain. Call it quits then. Don't stop now. Wait till you get to the top, because the perspective we have from the top of the mountain is always better than the bottom, and you'll never quit then. And I've been through some really crazy and traumatic stuff, and I always look back to that lesson and I keep going to the next mountaintop. And there's more out there, and there's more meant for your life than what you're seeing right now. And if you end it, your children will never see it. Your spouse will never see it. You'll never see it. Wait till you get to the next mountain.
Amen, dude. Amen. I love that answer, man. I love that. Sometimes it's just taking the next step.
Yep.
Just the next step. And getting in touch with people like you or me and getting some motivation and some hope.
To all my veteran brothers and sisters, if you happen to catch this and you're in that position, make sure you reach out to me. We don't need any more.
No, we don't, man. We sure don't. I agree with you. John, where can everybody follow you? What's the best place?
On Facebook, we should be connected, or you can just go to johnrenken.com and then just hit me up from there. All my social media channels are on there. Everything's on there.
johnrenken.com. Let me put that up. I should have asked you that up front. My bad. johnrenken.com.
Yep.
And there it is, scrolling across the bottom. Did I get it right? Yeah, I think so.
You did. I love streaming.
Yeah. So everybody go over to johnrenken.com, click on his social media, follow him on Facebook. Are you on Instagram as well?
On Instagram.
Yeah.
On all of them.
Parlor? You on Parlor?
I'm on Parlor too.
Yeah.
Gotta get my dose of conspiracy theories every day.
Yeah. Or the truth.
Or the truth, depending.
Yeah.
Parlor's been pretty interesting to me. Parlor's been pretty interesting to me. I like, I don't care where you're at. Nobody should be censoring us. Totally
agree.
I love Parlor because I've even been seeing some people that are a little more liberal leaning posting information on there, and they're not censoring it. So
yeah. John, thank you for coming on today. I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, your experience, strength, and hope. And hey, there's a Satanist, former Satanist that turned his life over to Christ, and you've changed everything, man. So congratulations on your success. Congrats on doing so well with Ray and Jess.
Yeah.
And the Two Market Media team, and that's amazing, dude.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on. And Edna just typed in I love that. Quit at the top of the mountain. Yeah. So everybody go follow John. John, thank you. Stay with me. I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you to everybody that's been on here, and we will see you all later. John, thanks so much.
Thanks. We'll see you guys.
All right.